let you know that you can ask us questions at any stage, and to do that you would hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or questions at wildearth.tv on email. So please get the questions through, and Alex, who's in the final control, will then try and feed them through to me. And to all the regular viewers, welcome back. Oh, it's incredible how quick their reactions are. And it just takes one of them to get a little bit of a fright, and then it ripples through the rest of the herd. Copy, that's great news. Could you go again with which Zoomy that was? Okay, copy, thank you. Well, to Diane, who is one of our Zoomies, and for those of you who are overlooks this waterhole that you may have seen a few glimpses of as we arrived in the sighting, the Dwarf waterhole. And it's a live webcam that runs 24 hours a day, and it's actually positioned in this tree that Brian's going to show you now. It's directly on the other side of the tree. All you can see from here is the speaker that picks up the audio on the bottom right, and an electrical box. But the actual camera's on the other side, and Zoomies have the ability to control this webcam from wherever they are in the world. It's a really cool opportunity for people, like I say, anywhere in the world, to literally guide themselves and everyone who's watching the webcam through the waterhole and what's there. And Diane managed to find a leopard that came to the waterhole last night to drink, and from his little bit in its accurate direction. So if you can see the road across there where the dam wall is, Brian, so the leopard came from the right-hand side of the shot on that road that Brian's panning across to, and then dragged somewhere possibly right there where we can see, and then I'm guessing it then crossed the dam wall towards us, and then continued down to the right. There is another road that feeds down to the riverbed down that flows out of this waterhole. Alex, do you know what time that was? Sorry, I didn't copy what time that was last night. A lot of the antelope, not just the Impala, are really looking in tip-top condition at the moment. Oh, what a beautiful shot, Brian. Because it is the time of plenty for the herbivores, so they really are making the most of it. In terms of rain, this rainy season, we actually haven't got nearly as much as I'm used to receiving in this area. There could still well be a lot of rains to come, and I hope there are, because already the trees and a bit of the vegetation are beginning to wilt slightly. Something a little bit different, but it's just to be playing along perfectly with us, flying parallel. Well done, Brian. Well, good work. And that looked to be an African monarch butterfly, but There's another one that looks very, very similar to it. And that kind of mimicry is fairly common in the insect world, where one insect that is toxic or does carry toxic fluids in its body will be mimicked by other insects, that don't necessarily have those toxic fluids. We'll go and have a look at and then return to the tracks.
Go.
This is interesting. His tracks, or a leopard's tracks, are now coming from where that wildebeest was standing on the road towards us. So it's interesting how these tracks are working out, but he could well have headed into this clearing, tried to catch something, failed, and then continued in the direction he was initially heading, because for him to have come here, if it is the same leopard, which it could well be, he would have again altered course quite drastically. It's an interesting marking on the zebra. Which ones are you on there? Those two there. Okay. Oh. The one that I wanted to show you is now just turned around. It had a very interesting blub of a stripe. And it is interesting how the stripes are so different from animal to animal. Dwarf mongoose grown in this hole in the tree to our left. Must be weird. Okay. There you go. Let's look up the trees. It has dens or hideouts. Oh, there's another one. And another. You wonder how many are hiding in this tree. Maybe 10 waiting in queue to get out, going, what's the hold up, guys? We're hungry. So we'll give it a few more moments and then let them start their day out foraging for mainly insects, but small rodents, small snakes will also certainly be on the menu. Does this remind you of your meerkat work, Brian? To a degree.
Yeah. I've never seen a mongoose in a tree.
Oh, it's It's a good spot, this.
Being out in the bush and being out there live has
The last few weeks, and I don't think I've ever seen this many members of the Nkuhuma Pride together actually in all my time here, so a really special sighting for me. Was that an Impala that just alarm called, or was it a bird? Something like it could have been an Impala alarm call nearby, and there's often game in this area that we're in. And it just goes to show how important teamwork is out here, because we may never have made it to this area or found any tracks of these animals this morning. So a big thank you to Andrew who gave us a call. It does sound like a bird actually that's calling. I think it's a lilac-breasted roller that we got confused with for the Impala alarm calling. Now, even though they're asleep now, and they could well sleep the rest of the day, they're not exceptionally full-bellied. And because we don't see lion very often, it would be very nice to spend some time with them, and the longer we spend with them, the more likely it is that we will see them doing something. So, great prospects for this morning, and hopefully this afternoon even. We are close to our southern boundary here, very close, probably just a few hundred feet away. So lucky that they decided to come slightly south as opposed to north. Sorry, just doing a little video here. Me and Brian and my pole went into the shot there, apologies for that. But really trying to get as much footage as I can now that things are drawing so close. And very lucky because we've got some wonderful subjects this morning. How many are here? 1, 2. There's 2 that look like they're probably maybe 7 or 8 months old. Maybe a little bit older than that. So 2 of us are very similar size. And then definitely 1 young male. And what look like 4 or 5 potentially adult lioness, but hard to say. That is an Impala. It's not a lilac-breasted roller, and it's obviously been alarm calling for a while, and I just actually did see it wag its tail through some bushes. They're not far off, but interesting that the lion are paying no interest whatsoever to them. They may have had a failed attempt at catching them, and now that they've lost the elements of surprise, they've given up, because without the elements of surprise, it's almost impossible for any predator to bring down its prey. Anyway, back to the total of lions that we can see here. If you haven't counted yet, I've only just got round to it. So it's 2 youngsters and 5 quite large lioness, it looks like, and 1 young male that looks like he could be coming on 2 years of age roughly. So 8 of them in total that we can see here. It's incredible how animals that can be so fierce can also be so loving and gentle.